right. Hello, everybody. Thanks for jumping on this Integrity Short-Term Care Initiative webinar today. It's my pleasure. This is Tom Randall from GoldenCare. And today is my pleasure to talk to you about the True Freedom Home Care Plan. It's not even an insurance plan. It's kind of a prepaid home care plan, as you'll see. And we're really excited about the fact that this thing is in all 50 states. And as you see today, it's super easy to use. And it's a huge crutch for people who, number one, can't get anything else. Number two, really appreciate the fact that it's leveraged so well when it comes down to time to go on a claim or to use the services. So usually I would be joined today by my partner in crime, Dennis Reiner, but he is off. We keep him busy. He's off running around the country doing some training on his own and having some meetings about the short-term care initiative. So Dennis will not be able to join us today. So you get to listen to me yap at you. And unfortunately, even Chen Randall, I love her last name, number one. And number two, she is a trooper. She does such a great job for True Freedom that I just left her slide in here because on one of our early recorded trainings, you'll hear that Chen jumped on from herself. And she's with the True Freedom program and just does an outstanding job of helping people with True Freedom and helping us get this initiative going. And she's just been a godsend. So shout out to Chen. But anyway, I do want to let you know that in our regular trainings, when I show you the website, go check out that stat on the need for this because I talk about the graying of America. And if you were on any of my trainings, even the one earlier today, you remember I talked a lot about the biggest ability of any of these plans is their availability. And remember, with our Integrity Short-Term Care Initiative, we've got comprehensive short-term care plans, as you can see here. Again, we go over this a lot in the training, so I'm not going to spend time today on this. But the home care plans that we'll be talking about today, you can see True Freedom down there in the middle of the list on the left. True Freedom is really such a good standby because, like I said, it's really super broad net underwriting, as broad as you can get, and it's available in all 50 states. As you can see here, we've got the short-term care available in several states, and these home care only plans, if you on our earlier training, you know, a lot of states are covered. And Manhattan Life's got a lot of states and they're transitioning over. But you can see there's a couple, we call them our good old trouble states. I'm living right smack in the middle of one here in Minnesota, where they try to help out their residents in the state by saying, we don't trust agents, they're going to mislead people. So even though they'll never qualify for long-term care and never have any help, we're not going to allow these other type of products. So you can tell I got a little rot in my stomach because of that, because I feel bad for all those people, especially I know hundreds of people in Minnesota from my years working in this business who can't qualify for long-term care, and they would love to have an opportunity to have a short-term care product. So thank goodness for you on the call today that we have a solution, because the one thing you can look at with every one of your clients, whether you're selling other short-term care, you're in the trenches, long-term care, short-term care, or if you're like most of you on this call, probably selling Medicare or life or some other product within our Integrity family of companies, at the end of the day, you can keep doing what you do all the time, and you can finish up, use our sales training on these calls, and realize that it just takes a simple question to start the conversation. And the nice part about it is, you know, now, whether you're out in California working with a client, or in Florida, or Minnesota, or Northeast out there, those blue states that you see that just don't allow some of these other plans and other options, True Freedom is a godsend, especially in those states, but it's also available in all 50 states. And sometimes we have people who sell this over regular traditional home care or short-term care plans even, because it's kind of a cool product. So let me tell you a little bit about it. Non-insurance product again. And remember, the key is some of this stuff is their need. This is from their slide deck, and they talk about the fact that, do you have a plan in place, right? And that you want to make sure that they know you can have bigger risk to your family, etc. And they talk about the fact that 70% of the seniors sound familiar. You've heard me give that stat time and time again, especially when you talk about extended care. And then they talk about the fact that 80% of mature Americans have at least one health condition, so they can't qualify for some of the other plans. Does anybody ever remember hearing me yap at you and saying something like, one of the biggest abilities plans are their availability, and that comes down to where they show up and where they're approved. That's all 50 states for this product. And again, the second one I talk about is what? Underwriting, right? You have to be able to get through and pass the underwriting. And it gets traditionally from the area of the broadness of the coverage, it makes sense that logically it gets more difficult to get it. Long-term care, where we've written over $1 billion in long-term care in the day, that's very tough underwriting because it's a very comprehensive plan that can pay huge benefits for a long period of time, etc. Now, it's kind of funny because then you get into short-term care plans, and those are much, much, much easier to get than long-term care, but those won't be able to cover you as long as, right? They cover usually 1 year in a home and 1 year in a facility for the same claim, if that's the way your care works. And then you have home health care only plans that say we can't do facility, but we can do home care, designated benefits, and that's great too. And those are really easy underwriting. And then you kind of get to this true freedom plan. Again, not insurance, so it's a little bit different. You're going to see with this, you can have some really huge, massive plans available, and the underwriting is about as easy as you can get, as you'll see. So let's jump into it. We know all this background stuff to talk about it. When you get at home, people want to stay at home and they need help with everyday living things and incidental home care things, etc. So this is a home care plan, not as much on the health side. It's just helping you through with that custodial stuff. So you can see on this left-hand side there, talks about the cost of care can vary depending on where you live and everything else, but you need help with those activities of daily living, like bathing, dressing, toileting, etc. So the mission statement for True Freedom is in there. The slide deck says they're designed to True Freedom nationwide home care plans with commitment to serve the mature Americans with dignity. Our clients will have the true freedom to choose and control who takes care of them and how much care they need at their house. So that's really basically what it is. Again, we always clarify to people, and you want to make sure you're upfront with them saying this is actually kind of a service contract. It's kind of like a membership plan, like people get discounts or prepaid number of hours for certain things like towing, et cetera, with AAA. Same concept here. This is a prepaid home care plan for non-medical services at home. Okay. And the best part about it, again, for you as an agent, no medical underwriting to worry about. Okay. So I might have time to show you a little video, but I think you guys get the gist of it. There is a video I'll show you on our website for this, on your website, I should say, the integritystc.com, and I'll show you that later on. But it's a pretty simple concept. At the end of the day, you can go to anybody in all 50 states, and as long as they're not needing care right now today, and they can live independently today, then you can go out and offer them this protection in this prepaid program. And you can see on here, and you can see all this in the product training on the site, on the materials available on the site and in the brochure on the site. But basically they have a platinum plan. That's their gold standard. I should say platinum standard, right? 10,000 lifetime hours. So basically what this is, you're buying a number of hours with these plans. So it has kind of built-in inflation, doesn't it? Because the way they say current lifetime retail value, 280,000, they're using a loosey-goosey $28 an hour is what the average home health care hour cost for home care, not home health, but for home care. So basically that's $28 an hour is what they're using today. A few years ago, they used $25 an hour. So what I'm saying is if I buy any one of these plans, the gold plan is 6,000 lifetime hours, silver is 3,000, bronze is 1,500. The base plan is something we put together almost specifically for this integrity initiative. Everybody who's part of our integrity family is going to be considered an affinity discount that we'll show you as we get into pricing, and they can get this base plan as well, which is really strong. 600 lifetime hours, 16,800, which is 600 times 28. And I'm going to show you a little bit of leveraging later where it's literally like 12 cents per lifetime for every lifetime retail value dollar that we talk about. So very inexpensive compared to what you're getting, and I'll get into pricing. But the part I want to hit you guys with today is the part that, remember with some of these plans that we talk about in our regular traditional insurance, some of them have inflation protection. That's what this is. If I sell this plan today, it's valued at $16,800 for this baby plan. But remember, 5 years from now, if you don't use it for 5 or 10 years, that cost will actually go up inherently because you're buying the hours at a certain cost that you're paying today. Make sense? Again, same disclaimer I used a couple hours ago. If you're on that webinar, I've been talking all day. I've been on 3 or 4 webinars and conference calls, so you'll hear me grabbing my water bottle quite often. But so I apologize for that. But let's look at the pricing. This is a very unique, and this looks confusing, but I just want to make sure you realize this has what's called a loyalty discount. And basically it's a loyalty rewards discount. They know people will buy this because the underwriting is so loose that people will buy it knowing that they're going to use it right away the next year, right? And that's fine. But they do have a loyalty discount built in where you can get a discount every year off 10% for the 4 years. So 40% potentially discounted off their already discounts. So let's watch this. 5-year affinity monthly. The affinity member, everybody you're selling to, because you're in our integrity family, you can offer this affinity discount. So it's a 10% member discount for that part. So we got that off the base price right off the bat. Then if you have a partner and spouse who are buying together, we talk to a lot of partners in here, you get another 10% discount. Okay, so you can see here the affinity monthly single member or the affinity monthly member enrolling with a partner. Okay, so that's where this extra 10% comes down here, right? So, and the 40% loyalty discount adds on here too. So not to beat it to death, but let's just look at the monthly single member cost. You can see there, if I did a base plan, 39 bucks a month. And if I wanted a platinum plan, it's $475 a month. That's 10,000 hours worth of care. So obviously there's going to be a big expense for that. Anywhere in between is listed here as well. Then this is already has the 10% discount off. So year one, you're going to get 35, and then year two is another 20%, 31, another 10%, 27, another 10%, 23, until finally year five, you can see here the affinity discount for year one at 10%, that extra 40% for the rewards, you're down to 19 bucks per month for that, or 237. Make sense? Again, same thing down here. This is with the married couple. So right off the bat, the retail's that same 39, but you get 20% off. Why? 10% for the affinity and 10% for the spousal. And then each year you get another 10% if you don't use your plan. So you could be paying as low as 15 bucks. Okay. We don't stop there though. This is where this comes in, and you'll see this all in the brochure and on your pricing sheets that you get on our site. But with the annual discount, they offer a 5% discount if you pay annually. I know a lot of your clients will want to pay monthly, but with this program, if they pay annually, they do get an extra 5% discount. So now, same thing I just showed you. Here's singles, here's married, and here's the retail price for an annual. And again, you can see down here, it's going to be 5% cheaper. So you can get 15%, and then that goes up another 10% per year. So year five, if you were looking at monthly and dividing that by 12, it's only 17 bucks a month for singles, or $13 per month for marrieds, because the marrieds get that extra 10%. So you look at that overall, you want to talk to your clients about the fact, plan ahead with this plan. You know what? Let's get you something in place. Now I'm talking to somebody in California, no other short-term care plans available or home health care plans available. Even if I was in a state that had other ones available, I could make the argument to show this still. But think about those states that don't have anything else. I'm looking at them saying, wow, I can get you a solid gold plan, 6,000 hours worth of coverage if you ever need it. And I know you will, because you're not healthy enough to get some of these other plans out there like long-term care. So this plan is almost a when you use it. And look at that, 65% discount. So let's plan ahead and get you this in place so you take full advantage of that 40% discount. Now you're looking at that plan and you're saying, you know what, that's only $100 a month in year five. That's $1,239 annually divided by 12. So you can see a very, very good deal for people, very affordable. And I'm going to show you how these plans work. But again, the big key to remember was with this, it's not going to have nurses come in and take care of conditions that you have health conditions. It's more of a home care plan. So you can see here, meal preparation, grocery shopping. The reality is Medicare doesn't cover this stuff, folks. So this is the stuff that really is a huge market. It's a huge business in America, as you know. Home health aides are the #1 used plan out there. And these people are home care aides who come in from these really major, this is not an exhaustive, there's thousands of networks out there that they use home care agencies across the country. This plan has been around for a long, long time. And we've really just embraced them in the last 5 or 10 years here at GoldenCare. As the long-term care market changed, as we realized there's such a need for this type of care for people. So you'll recognize some of these names on the screen if you've been around, like Synergy's #3 in the country, and they gave huge rave reviews to True Freedom because they pay their bills. So this is a really nice deal. They have contracts out with these carriers, obviously, and they find people who can help you. And once you have a plan in place for people, it's just as cool as can be, because all they have to do is at any time after that, remember, you don't have to hit triggers in your policy, really. You're just going to have to need care from somebody. Okay, so if you need care, then you just call a toll-free number. A care coordinator works with you and says, all right, do you want to use anytime hours or agency hours? I'll explain that in a second. Then they help you set up your schedule, and they can have care set up and in you within 72 business hours. So that's how fast this can happen if something were to happen where you needed just somebody to really help you out at home. You can use these hours. It's really flexible. You can use your hours based within how the plan's set up, obviously, but you can use your hours anytime you want to, and you can stop using them if you want to save your hours, etc. So it's really a cool deal. Let's look closer, excuse me. There's non-medical home care in two different ways that you use it. One is called anytime hours and one is agency hours. Really quick, anytime hours, and again, this is all in the brochure, so you don't have to memorize all this stuff. But this is really cool because you can have a friend or a neighbor. You can't have somebody living in the house with you, but a friend or neighbor that you can choose anybody you want pretty much. And they can say, you know what, I'm having my church friend come over or my neighbor come over, and they're going to help me with shopping or they're going to help clean my house a little bit. You can use those anytime you want, any day of the week, any hours. They can be there overnight if they had to. Those hours are super, super duper flexible. Okay. So those are anytime hours, and those are obviously going to be a little less expensive than agency hours because the agency hours are going to have set fees. But again, you're buying hours worth of care. Okay. So the next one is provided by a licensed network home care agency, like we just showed you on that previous screen. And these services have to be set up where they're available Monday through Friday up to 5 hours a day between 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And these aren't available on the weekends or holidays. So that's the service contract they set up with these different, like visiting angels, et cetera, and those type of things. So it's really a nice thing for people who just need help for a few hours a day. And again, perfect. You can have up to 5 hours per day, and you can use anytime hours if you need to instead. Okay, so very flexible. Direct payment is paid to a friend or neighbor once a week on Fridays if you're using anytime hours. If you're using agency hours, the home health care agency works right with True Freedom, and obviously it's all set up where those invoices are paid, and you don't have to worry anything about that. And again, they have a great, great reputation. One thing about True Freedom, they're not an insurance product, so they know that there got to be service. So they do a great job, and we have very, very, very few complaints. And if it is complaints, it's just about things that would happen anyway. So it's not anything about them dropping the ball. Okay, so they've done a really great job. We've vetted them pretty strongly. And there's some supporting information on all that if people say, well, if it's not insurance, what happens if this happens? All that stuff is on the site, and they have a statement of understanding that people know. It has nothing to do with the agent. He doesn't have to worry about his E&O or anything like that. Okay, so lifetime benefit usage explanation. This is how this works, and a lot of the ways that you can use this. It's called an intermittent service contract. So your lifetime hours that you get, let's say you get that big whopping package of 10,000 hours. Okay, so that's divided into 10 bundles of 100 hours. That makes sense. So that's in 10 different hours. You get first day coverage. So you have access to your first bundle of hours after an initial 90-day waiting period. Now, is that an elimination period? No, it's a waiting period. It just says once I sign the contract, they don't want you to say, okay, I'm going to go on claim day 2. They say we do have a 90-day wait. So you got to make sure you're taking care of your own costs or whatever at that point if something happens in the first 90 days. But after that 90 days, at any time, you're going to probably sit down there 2 or 3 years later because you want to take advantage of that loyalty discount. But whenever it may happen after that first 90 days after you buy the contract, then there's no elimination period, no wait or anything. You don't have to pay a certain number of days out of your pocket. So if you need care, as long as it's after 90 days, it's first day coverage. Then after you exhaust a bundle of hours, remember that example, 10,000 hours, I'd have 10 bundles of 1,000 hours. So if I had that top plan, after I use 1,000 hours, then it says, okay, now doesn't matter if you're not healthy or not, but they call it a 90-day plan rejuvenation period, okay? So basically what they're saying is, we're not going to give you just 10,000 hours worth of coverage in a row. And that's the reason they can do this, you guys, is number one, they can keep it affordable. Number two, they can keep it manageable to be able to throw that net so wide on the underwriting side. So it's not a negative, it's just the way the plan works. And you have to explain it to your clients and say, the nice part about this, I want to sell you as big a plan as you can afford because your bundles will be bigger And then you have a 90-day rejuvenation period. You don't have to be healthy during that rejuvenation period. You could just pay for it out of pocket, or just say, I'm not going to get that great care that I had for that other 90 days or whatever, that other 1,000 hours, but I am going to have to do 90 days without coverage payment from the carrier. Okay. So after the rejuvenation period's over, your next bundle of hours automatically can reload. Okay. If you don't have a need for care, or if you just choose to save your bundles, you can do that. That's that flexibility I was telling you about. You don't absolutely positively say, no, now you're on claim, like an insurance policy. You're kind of taking it as you need it. You can actually be really flexible. And for some reason, if you say, hey, I don't want to, I want to save my hours. I'm not feeling that bad right now, and I think I can fake it. I'm going to save my hours and not use as many. So it's a super flexible plan. Okay. The big thing about this is you do have to keep your membership paid up in current status to have access to your hours. So you don't have a waiver of premium you're used to with some insurance products, but that's pretty common with short-term care in general. And then you can't share your hours with your spouse or partner. That just basically means just because dad or mom bought a plan, if dad says, oh, I wouldn't mind getting some help around getting around shopping and all that stuff too, you obviously can't have the other partner use it unless they have a plan of their own. And then the service must be provided by the contracted members. So again, they have thousands of home health care approvals around there. And if you have a client, you can call. That's one of the things Chen's great at. If you live in a certain part of the country and you say, hey, what kind of exposure do you have in this country side of the country? They'll tell you right out. They're not trying to hide it or anything. They have people available just about anywhere you can think of, I'm sure. And again, I showed you Synergy is the number 3 in the entire nation, and they have those folks contracted as well. So you're going to probably be able to get coverage for pretty much anybody you're talking to. But if you ever need to check, you certainly can. Okay. So again, flexibility. Take as long as you want to use it. Every bundle of hours used is followed by a 90-day rejuvenation. So again, 1,000 hours, wait 90 days. 1,000 hours, wait 90 days if you have that top plan. So it's really flexible. The big thing to remember when you're telling this to your client and educating them about this is remember to tell them that obviously to protect to protect true freedom. I always want to say the carrier, but you know what I'm talking about. So protect true freedom. You got to make sure you tell people you obviously can't go on claim and then realize, ooh, I only bought this small plan. I sure wish I would have bought a bigger one, so I'm going to upgrade. Needless to say, you can't upgrade. So you're only allowed to purchase one plan. And after that plan is gone, or after that plan isn't used, whatever the case is, you're going to have that plan in place. So you can't later decide to upgrade. You guys know that from Sales 101. So obviously tell people we want to keep it affordable no matter what. One of the biggest abilities of these plans is their affordability. But at the same token, make sure you tell them a little bit of the takeaway sale if you want to sound like that. But tell people the truth and say, now, one thing I want you to know, if you're looking at this base plan or this bronze or silver plan, that's great. And it's going to do great things for you. But remember, once I put this in place, you can't come back later and decide, oh, you know what, a year later, I realized I have more money or I have worse health. We can't upgrade. Does that make sense? So make sure you sell what you're going to sell. Okay. Are you eligible to enroll? You want to talk about easy underwriting? Well, can I leave you at home alone for a week and you can kind of live on your own? And can you do all your activities of daily living without help from people? If you answer yes, you're in. Okay. So I'll show you that I'm going to jump right now real quick. And you know, I like to jump around a little bit. Here's the actual enrollment form. Remember, it's not an insurance plan. You get set up just so they know who you are and how to pay you. There's a little tiny form you sign up on. That's going to be all taken care of by the member association who got you on this call. And once they get you set up, then you have this little one-page enrollment deal along with the brochures. So here's the different plans. It talks about all the different pricing in here, from monthly all the way up to annual, etc. These are affinity pricing. So this is called an affinity enrollment. Because you're part of the Integrity family, you get to sell at that 10% discounted rate to everybody. And again, super easy. Here's the bank name so you can get it paid out of that. This is for your client now, of course. Here's their questions on the big, huge underwriting, right? Are you able to live independently? You need help? Am I aware that this is not insurance, just so we don't get in trouble there? Then that's about how easy it is. So super easy to get people set up. There's no underwriting at all. There's nothing to worry about. Once they get it set up, they're set up. Okay. since I'm here, I'm just going to spend a second on this and let you know. This is a super well leveraged plan. This is on the site, and I'll show you where to get it when we get on the site. But if you want to, if you're a little bit analytical like I am, you can look at this and see this plan shows you that it's literally you're paying 14 cents on the dollar for the value of these memberships, the way you can get it out. You're prepaying it, so you're just getting a huge leverage deal with it, no matter how you slice it. And it shows your savings depending on what plan you're using once you use that care. And remember, you're going to use it because most people you get these type of plans definitely know I'm going to be in a situation where this isn't something I'm going to waste. It's something I'm definitely going to use. Make sense? So again, if I get back to the presentation super fast, I go in here and tell about people enroll today, right? Medicare doesn't cover homemaker services, custodial, or that personal care. So especially if you don't have some other extended care policy in place, says long-term care because we've used this presentation for a lot of our long-term care people. But if you don't have any other care in place, especially you should enroll today because you may not be eligible to purchase True Freedom plan in the future. And remember, the plan you get today is the one that you're going to have after that. So easy peasy, no underwriting. Once you get it, you're going to receive your official letter and a card within about 30 days after enrollment. Remember, that's fine because you have 90 days that it says an original waiting period that you have to wait. So you can see how slick that is. And it's, again, about as easy to understand and use as possible. And the cool thing about this is you can talk to your networker, marketer who got you on the call, and they can help you out. But you can contact Chen's group at any time. There's great agent support right at True Freedom that you can certainly use. And Chen is nice enough to say, put my email on there even, and she is so Johnny on the spot, it's not even funny. So I want you to realize, piece of cake to get this plan in place. And I'm going to do what I usually do, show you this is the key, integritystc.com. And if you have Integrity, I'm just seeing if there's any chat. No. Integrity STC is where you get everything you need. Sales and marketing, there's your InstaPivot. Here's the full comprehensive short-term care plans. Here's our home health care only plans. There's True Freedom. If I click on learn more, excuse me, it's going to give a great little video, you guys. And I'm not going to waste time with it here because it's available here. This is a little 2-minute video that you can get the link to and download even and have on your emails or have it available for yourself. And it's a really nice video just to tell people about, hey, as you go through the road ahead, you're going to need help with some type of help. The True Freedom can be a great solution. So it's professionally done, and they did a great job with that one. Here's a quick overview of what True Freedom is right on the site. And then you can see there's product highlights written out here, presentation materials, marketing materials, testimonials. These testimonials on here are really nice from people who actually have used it, who say how great it is, even from one of the home care agencies. So if you're ever using this, this is stuff that really can come in handy to help people feel comfortable about it. And everything you need to quote or go on the site to do the enrollments are a piece of cake as well. Remember, part of the True Freedom, or part of this short-term care initiative, if you go to the sales and marketing area, it's going to show you exactly where all the recorded trainings are. And I don't even have to wait for it, I don't think. There you go. If you go right here to sales and marketing, click on here, go to the full webinar showcase. You can see all the different webinars, even a True Freedom to back it up. And the one we're doing today, if there's no glitches with the recording, would be on there as well. So you can see all the different things you need on how to go out, sell, and present and show people the value of these different propositions. All of that is available to you right on our site. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just close her up today. And I'm going to let you know, I really appreciate you taking your time to jump on this. And I really recommend the next step is really up to you. Make sure you contact your marketer, the person who got you on this webinar. Tell them I want to get appointed for all the Integrity Short-Term Care Initiative offerings. And True Freedom is one of those. And I tell you, this is one of those things that it's a little different. So people start thinking, oh man, it's not even insurance. I don't know. But remember, there's some positives of not having it be insurance. And this has a sterling reputation. They've been around a long time. I feel super confident offering this for my clients. And again, I can't stress enough, when you're sitting out there looking across the table or looking across the internet at somebody who absolutely can't qualify for any other type of coverage, so you can't give them long-term care, and then you look and say, oh, what state are you in? California, oh my goodness, I can't offer you even any of the short-term or the solid insurance offerings out there because the state thinks they're helping you. So you know what? These are a godsend for these type of products. And this True Freedom product, in my mind, is second to none of anything else you'd find available out there because they have such a long track record and the fact that they know that their system works the way they have it set up. So you're going to be able to trust them for years and years and years. So huge plus and huge recommendation from Tom Randall, who you're listening to right now. So again, this is Tom Randall. I want to thank you so much for jumping on this call. And if you have any questions, make sure you contact the marketer that you have. They can get a hold of us, of course. And if you have any questions about True Freedom, Chen is there as well. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Hope to see you on a webinar again soon. Have a great day.
The next step is yours. Contact your marketer for more information and to start offering short-term care solutions to your clients. And be sure to sign up for our other short-term care hot topic webinars.